Welcome to the Black Bibalist News Channel, where we bring you not only the latest news and in-depth analysis, but also a unique perspective that intertwines current events with biblical scriptures. Our channel is dedicated to offering thoughtful reporting on today's most pressing issues while also providing spiritual insights to help interpret the times in which we live. Thank you to all of our subscribers who for your support, for tuning in, and to everyone who has commented and liked our previous videos. We really appreciate you tuning in because we have received growth, a lot of growth in a short amount of time. And we appreciate you for tuning in and your engagement and feedback. Today's video, Wars and Rumors of Wars Equal World War III Part 4. So we're going to get into several hotspots around the globe. If you haven't already, please check out parts 1 and 2 and 3 of this series for more context. Tensions between the Philippines and China has been escalating over disputes in the South China Sea. On July the 2nd, Chinese leaders and Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. held a meeting to ease these escalating tensions following the worst confrontation in the disputed waters, which resulted in injuries to Philippine personnel. However, recent geopolitical developments, particularly concerning tensions in the South China Sea and the Philippines, relations with China have led to discussions about inviting the United States back to the region. This move has implications for regional security dynamics and has sparked debates whether this is the best approach for the Philippines in navigating its relationship with major powers. Philippine Foreign Undersecretary Teresa told her Chinese counterpart, Vice Foreign Minister Chen, that the Philippines will be relentless in protecting its interests and upholding its sovereignty and sovereign rights and jurisdiction in the South China Sea, according to the Philippine side. Now, that's their side. The Chinese government did not issue any statement about the talks. But apart from this China and Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Brunei also lay overlapping claims to the strategic sea, which has rich fishing areas and potentially more undersea deposits of gas than what has been found so far, mostly in the fringes of the seaway by coastal states. Sporadic confrontations have also flared between Chinese forces and those of Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia. In the past, the Southeast Asian nations have resisted from aggressively, though, confronting China for the fear of undermining their interest and economic ties with Beijing. The defense pact between Japan and the Philippines marked a significant shift in regional dynamics, considering the history and the historical context. Once adversaries during World War II, Japan and Philippines now find common ground in addressing the challenges posed by China's assertiveness. This strategic partnership underscores the evolving nature of international relations, where former enemies unite to enhance regional security. By focusing on military cooperation, joint exercises, intelligence sharing, Japan and the Philippines aim to bolster their defense capabilities to ensure a balanced power in the Asia Pacific region. This pact highlights their commitments to upholding international law and maintaining a free and open Indo Pacific area. But is this the right approach? That's just my question. Militarizing the South China Sea. For every action, I spoke in my other video, there is a reaction. And all it is escalating tensions, getting closer to a war in the South China Sea. The United States and the Philippines have a long history dating back to the late 19th century. After the Spanish American War in 1898, the United States acquired the Philippines from Spain, and they became their colonial masters, basically. This marked the beginning of an era of American colonization in the Philippines. During this period, the United States established military bases in the Philippines, including Subic Bay, which they're using today. These bases played a significant role in the projection of American military power in the Asian Pacific region. Subic Bay was one of the largest American naval facilities in the world, while Clark Air Force Base served as a key strategic air base for the United States Air Force. The presence of these military bases have had a profound impact on the Philippines, both economically and politically. Over time, as the Philippines moved towards independence, there were increasing calls from the Filipino people to close down Clark Air, Clark Air Force Base and Subic Bay Naval Installation. In 1991, following rejection of a new lease agreement by the Philippine Senate, the United States decided to close both Subic Bay Naval and Clark Air Force Base. This marked the end of an era of military presence in the Philippines, at least for a time. And now we're swinging back in today, and it appears that the United States is trying to get their foothold right back in the Philippines, those military bases back in the Philippines. But every action there's a reaction. If they do go along with those bases, they definitely will be a target for China and Russia. And if they have, like they brought with them, those bombers, they would definitely be a target for a nuclear attack. Just keep that in mind, because for every action, there's a reaction. However, these recent geopolitical developments, particularly concerning the tensions in South China Sea, the Philippines' relations with China have led to discussions about inviting the United States back to the region. Again, this has deep implications for regional security dynamics and has sparked debates if this is the right course that the Philippines internally should be going. Is this the direction that the Philippines, especially the older generation? So these debates are about the best approach for the Philippines in navigating its relationship with major superpowers. A UN development specialist is tasked with restoring order to Haiti. He arrived on Saturday to the Caribbean nation to take up his new post. A transitional committee, a council seeking to pave the way for an election in Haiti. Now, his name is Gary Conneal. So this week, he just got here this week. So he replaces the interim prime minister, Michelle Patrick, which the United States and them installed. That's how they met. He met him upon arrival at the Port-au-Prince capital, according to a government statement. So he's coming in, this Canel and Michelle Patrick. He's going out. So we're gonna talk about how the selection process, how they selected this puppet. But Canel has been, let's get a little bit of his background. He has been a UNICEF regional director for Latin America and the Caribbean since 2023. Previously, he served as a prime minister from October 2011 to May 2012. Under then, it was President Michelle. Now, this is the problem. It also accused this council of not being transparent while choosing this new prime minister, saying it did not publicly even share the criteria that was used to select this new prime minister, nor none of the names were submitted. The Haitian people had no involvement in the process, the selection process for this prime minister. And this is the problem. This has been going on for 200 years with Haiti. Them selecting who they want. They want a puppet. Do you think that they're going to select somebody that's in the best interest of Haiti peoples so that they can keep those natural resources and benefit from them? No, they're going to get a puppet like the puppet President Ruto of Kenya. They want yes men. They don't want men that's going to look out for the people. They don't want leaders like that. They want yes men so that they can exploit the natural resources of the country. That's what they want. Yes men. And this new minister, is a yes man. Kenya police in Haiti will be joined by police from the other puppet states. Puppets for the United States in the West. Here are the countries, here are the puppet states that's going to also participate in policing, invading and policing the Haitian people. Bahamas, Bangladesh, Barbados, Benin, Chad, and Jamaica for a total of 2,500 officers. They will be deployed in phases at a cost of $600 million a year, according to some UN sources, UN Security Council. So far, the United Nations fund has only received 18 million in contributions from Canada, France, and the United States. You know, the United States is paying for this. It's not the United Nations. It's under the guise of the United Nations. But who is paying for this? It's the United States and the West, because they want these natural resources. And you know how the United Nations work. You know who controls the United Nations. Okay, let's move on. But the United States has also pledged, again, $300 million to support this. Again, this is where the money's coming from. Follow the money. There is 11 million people. That's the population of Haiti. We're going to come back to that number. I want you to keep that 11 million figure in the back of your mind. This American force, made up of America, backed by America and the Western European, they want 2,500 police officers, so-called police officers. So let's call them paramilitary police officers. Paramilitary. They want 25 of them, 2,500, and led by Kenya under the guise of an United Nations mission, a UN mission. Now, this is a deceptive move, and it's really meant to steal Haitians' abundant natural resources, such as iridium, gold, and vast oil deposits. The United States propaganda is Haiti is poor, but they don't explain why the Haitians are poor. The United States and the West don't mention why they hate and despise the Haitians so much. In 1884, Haitians scared and embarrassed the white European colonial powers because the Haitians defeated Napoleon Bonaparte, their greatest military tactician in European history. At that time, Napoleon went down in history as a conqueror. The United States and Western Roman horns, and I identified those horns, they don't tell you Haitians are the only black peoples in the world who successfully won their freedom from a slave revolt and they established their own country. The United States in 1804, when Haiti won its independence, being only a couple of 100 miles from their shores, did not welcome Haiti's slave revolt. Today is Independence Day, but for the Americans, for the United States, they are celebrating, but they did not celebrate Haiti's independence. The United States, UK, France, Spain, Portugal, Germany, Italy, Belgium, Netherlands all had slaves and did not want their slaves to get the spirit of revolution. So they all ganged up on Haiti to make sure it stayed impoverished, and it continues today. The United States was a slave country, had slaves in 1804. In 1804, all of Africa was colonized except for Ethiopia. All of North America and South America was colonized. And guess what, Asia? All of Asia was colonized by those seven horns. One of those seven horns I mentioned, except for Thailand, they were colonized by one of these seven horns that I identified, or the United States. Let's talk those numbers now. Haiti has 11 million people. The United States puppet police has an estimated force and full strength of 2,500. Has anybody asked the question? Because it's obvious to me if a percentage, a high percentage, a decent percentage of the 11 million Haitian people who live in Haiti, if they wanted to support this puppet government the United States and the West have installed, at least 10,000 young Haitians would have joined the Haitian police force. But they didn't. And they can't get any recruits. That speaks loudly of the support from the Haitian people. Support this United States flunky government. They don't support it. Let's keep it real. Once you undress these lies and propaganda, the so-called gains the United States and the Western world news outlets televise have the support of the Haitian people, unlike the puppets who the United States installed. So Barbecue is an ex-police officer trained by the United States. Barbecue gave up being a police officer and joined the people to fight for freedom from the United States and Western European powers. Barbecue got the so-called gangs, he got them to stop fighting each other. Instead, they have united against the puppet government. Barbecue has support from the people. This is what the news do not tell you. I know the real gangsters of the world, and it's not barbecue. It's the countries that steal natural resources. It's the countries that enslaved. Those are the real gangsters. Moving on to Africa, we turn our attention to Kenya, where the situation remains tense. This brings us to a bit of irony. Kenya sent police forces into Haiti to help with stability, yet they are dealing with massive demonstrations in their own streets. These protests have resulted in tragic deaths of more than 25 youths in Kenya. It's almost prophetic justice, but it's truly sad. How can they manage another country's issues when they're struggling with their own internal problems caused by guess who? The colonial powers, along with the IMF and the World Bank high predatory interest rates. This irony is not lost on the protesters. The youth in Kenya are actually aware of how external pressures from institutions like the IMF and the World Bank have shaped their country's policies, including increased taxes imposed under President Ruto. These colonial era influence are part of the reason for the unrest and riots in Kenya. The protests see their government's action as worsened by these international influences. The young Kenya's protest has shaped the foundation of colonial control over their flunky President William Ruto. Ruto can't implement the financial policies his masters requested. The young Gen Z Africans no longer want the United States and the West to control their political leaders. Is a change. We're going to go ahead now and move over to the so-called Middle East, a flashpoint in the world today, one of the hottest flashpoints. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin recently hosted Israel Defense Minister Gallant at the Pentagon on Tuesday, June the 25th. During their meeting, they discussed several pressing issues, including the latest escalation. As the violence continues to affect both Israeli and Palestinian lives, there's notable international concern. Moreover, Israel's cabinet has pressed new measures preparing for potential warfare with HEZBOLLAH, signaling a significant shift in their defense strategy. This comes amidst heightened tensions in the region and discussions between Austin and Gallant were crucial in aligning U.S. and Israel policies and defense strategies to ensure Israel's stability. Adding to the tension, Hezbollah recently showcased advancements in their military technology. Just last week, they deployed a drone that managed to evade detection and captured high resolution images of Israel's sensitive military bases, including the highly secure Dimona nuclear facility. These images were subsequently broadcast on television, causing a national and international uproar over the breach of security. Hezbollah's acquisition and effective utilization of such sophisticated drone technology presents a significant challenge and escalation. This newfound capability raises concerns about the potential further employment of weapons that they do not know of. This breach and attacks potentially drawing in the United States. And so these newfound capabilities have gave United States and Israel concern of what type of weapons do they have that they have not shown us, if they have not used on us. So the stakes are high. If the conflicts escalate, this could potentially spiral into a broader confrontation involving Iran, ultimately risking a scenario as severe as World War III. To underscore the United States' commitment to supporting Israel amidst these rising tensions, American naval ships have been deployed to the Middle East. These vessels stand ready to assist Israel, ensuring that if it's any hostilities or if they escalate, situation escalate, they will not face Hezbollah alone. Additionally, aircraft have been stationed in the region to provide further support, a clear signal that the United States will not allow Hezbollah or any other adversaries to threaten Israel's vital security without a robust response. These developments highlight the urgent need for diplomatic intervention to avoid a larger catastrophe. The international community, including leaders from the UN and neighboring countries, has been vocal in calling for an immediate ceasefire and reviewed peace talks, but nobody is listening. Meanwhile, the increased military activity from Hezbollah along Israel's northern border has necessitated preemptive strikes from Israel. And then for every action is reaction. And you know, Israel just killed in a Hezbollah leader. And as a reaction to that, Hezbollah sent over 200 rockets and drones in northern Israel. And it's burning. And so that's what I state, for every action, there's a reaction. So this further complicates this already volatile situation. Wars and rumor of wars. So equals World War III. You know, Iran and Israel has been trading threats, going back and forth. Iran said that if Israel attacks Hezbollah, it will be obliterated. Obliterated. It will obliterate. It will be devastated. It'll be off the map. This is the threat that Iran have told Israel. Now, right now, Israel army is stretched after a nearly 9-month war in Gaza, and how Hezbollah holds an estimated arsenal of 150,000 rockets and missiles capable of striking anywhere in Israel. Israeli leaders, meanwhile, have pledged to unleash Gaza-like scenes of devastation on Lebanon if a full-blown war erupts. So we have a deputy leader, Sheikh Kasem of Hezbollah, one of their leadership. He spoke during an interview, and what he stated was that if Israel stopped its war right now in Gaza, then Hezbollah would stop attacking Israel. He also stated if Israel stopped its war, the Houthis would stop attacking ships in the Red Sea. So there's a lot of diplomatic talking. The French, who have ties as Lebanon's former colonial power, yes, Lebanon was a colony of one of the seven horns, France, but French and other Europeans are also mediating along with the Qataris and the Egyptians. White House officials, though, they have blamed Hezbollah for escalating tensions and said it backs Israel's right to defend itself. Of course, the United States is always going to back Israel, and they are not credible. They have no credibility. They are not an independent source when it comes to Israel. The Biden administration also has told the Israelis that opening a second front is not in their best interest. That point was hammered home to Gallant during his latest talks in Washington with Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, Secretary of Defense Austin. He spoke with also CIA Director William Burns, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, and others. But what they stated is, we're going to continue to help Israel defend itself. That's not going to change. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby stated. But as for a hypothetically or specifically with respect to the northern borderline, again, what they're saying is that, hey, they're going to protect you into that northern borderline. If you go into Lebanon, that's a different story. And again, we want to see front open up. And if we can't resolve this, we want to see if we can resolve these tensions through diplomatic processes. White House officials, however, are not discounting the real possibility that a second front in the Middle East conflict could open. In conversation with Israeli and Lebanese officials and other regional stakeholders, there's agreement that a major escalation is not in anybody's interest. as a senior Biden administration stated. Again, for every action, there's a reaction. So Israel bombed and killed some of Hezbollah's leaders. In return, Hezbollah has set the northern Israeli border on fire. And this continues. Will Israel draw the United States in warfare with Hezbollah? You know, the United States has already been fighting the Houthis, and they already shot down some of the missiles that were headed in Israel's direction when Iran unleashed missiles. Well, the United States shot some of those missiles down. So they're in the war. They're in it. So let's just keep that real. As we observe these troubling developments around the world, it's crucial to remain informed and vigilant. These escalating conflicts echo biblical prophecy found in Matthew 24-6 and 7th verses, which states, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places." This scripture reminds us that the turmoil we see today is part of a larger prophetic narrative. Additionally, Luke 21:10 and 11 verses adds further context. Then he said to them, "Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, famines, pestilences in various places, and fearful events and grateful signs from heaven." These verses tell us that what we are witnessing is not just random chaos, but events that have been foretold. The severe famines in Sudan and other parts of Africa, along with widespread pestilences such as the COVID-19 pandemic, highlight the struggles many are facing today. Furthermore, extreme weather conditions. You see, the heat is on right now. There's a lot of floods, including these hurricanes and floods. Unprecedented changes, climate changes are becoming increasingly common, causing significant distress and upheaval. These are not just isolated events, but interconnected signs that align with biblical prophecies. They encourage us to remain watchful, to seek understanding through scriptures. And it's not about worrying. I'm not trying to get people to worry. I want people to be prepared. So, Timothy, 2 Timothy, 3rd and 1st verse provides a reminder for our times. But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. These This serves as a sobering reflection on the state of the world, urging us to maintain in our faith in the Most High and resilience. As we continue to monitor these global developments, let us also seek wisdom and guidance from the scriptures, which provide not only insight but also hope and reassurance in these uncertain times. Thank you. In conclusion, thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging in here. I appreciate your time. Thank you for your continuous support. Please comment and subscribe. And if you have already, please feel free to share your thoughts and share this video with your friends as we strive to provide in-depth analysis with a biblical perspective. Your engagement helps us to bring more valuable content to you. Until the next time, stay safe and be aware and check out this next